How's it going, lads? Welcome back to a brand new video. Today what I've got for you is some more FIFA 22 ratings predictions, and we have today Manchester City. I'm wearing my light blue away kit in order to kind of relate a little bit to Man City. So we have the Man City rating predictions. As we said in previous episodes, it's not necessarily what players deserve to be rating, but it's what I think EA will give certain players. So it's more so meant for my years of experience to try and give you an okay sort of idea of what ratings players might get, if that makes sense. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. Let's get into the ratings. So we're starting off with Ederson, Cancelo and Walker all getting nice upgrades. Ederson with a +2. I think he was the best goalkeeper in the Prem last year, and I think he deserves to be on par with Alisson at a +2. There are little things about Ederson's game that I look at and I think, excuse me, are you okay? But I think in total he's a very, very good keeper. I think he's competing for being top 3, top 5 best goalies in the world, in my opinion. I think he's class, and his distribution is unreal. And then we've gone with Walker and Cancelo. Now, I gave Cancelo a right-back card. He did play 13 or 14 games at left-back last year. However, he played more games at right-back. And I thought he was just, in general, better at right-back. I think he's actually a class player. I would say, as right-backs go, these two are the best 2 right-backs in the world last year. And that's coming from a Man United player. Man United player? No, I don't play for Man United. I'm a fan of Man United. I wish I was a player. I'm a fan. I don't think there's been a pair of right-backs that were better than these two. I don't think there's been a single right-back. I don't think Trent was better than these two last year. I don't think anyone was better. You know, I just think that they were both absolutely class. I think Walker had a class Euros. I think Cancelo was class in the league. I think they were very good. So I think a +1 for Walker and a +3 for Cancelo is fair. Because I think Cancelo is absolutely fantastic. And then Walker had a great Euros, as I said before. So that's sort of what I would give those two players. Moving on, we've got Ake, Laporte and Stones. Now, Ake, I've given a downgrade to. I just think Ake isn't a very good centre-back at all, to be honest, and does not get game time. Laporte gave a -1 to. I honestly think he might even got a -2. The way I see it, Laporte has been kept out of that City side by Stones and Diaz. There's no way he deserves to be 87 rated anymore. And then Stones I gave a +2 to, because I thought Stones was good. The only thing I'll say about John Stones, he could get a higher rated card because he actually contributed to quite a few goals last year. But also, I think Stones is a little bit overrated, and I don't mean that in a way that says bad, because he's not. I think people think Stones is like England's best centre-back, or, you know, Man City's best centre-back. You know, I've seen a few outrageous opinions, and I disagree. I think Stones is solid, but I think if it wasn't for Kyle Walker in the Euros, Stones would have had quite a bad time. And I think in general, Stones looks better because he's next to Maguire and Diaz, who I think are both very accomplished centre-backs next to him, right? Like, whether you think Diaz is better or Maguire is better, whatever, it doesn't really matter. I think both of them are very, very solid, and I think that in turn makes Stones look very solid as well. Whereas I think if you put Stones next to Ben White, I think it might be a different story. Just my opinion. Don't hound me for that one. But yeah, that's what I would say for these ratings. Still think he deserves a +2. Next defense, we've got Ruben Diaz or Ruben Diaz. We've got Zinchenko and Fernandinho. Ruben Diaz, I give an 85 rated card to. I think that a +4 is fair. I can't see him getting a +5 or a +6. He had a fantastic league campaign and was great in the Champions League. However, his Euros was, I think, probably don't talk about that. Right, the City fans don't want me to talk about that, I don't think, because it was awful. Zinchenko, I think, has just been all-round very solid. I think that, I don't think he was a left-back when he originally joined, right? He wasn't intended to be a left-back, but he's actually, you know, accomplished that position quite well. Then Fernandinho, he's just getting on a bit, isn't he? He's getting older, he's losing his yard of pace and whatnot, so a downgrade, I think, is on the cards for Fernandinho as well. But, yeah, no, I think Ruben Diaz will be an 85 rated card. I think that's pretty fair. I look at, you know, other players that had great seasons. Like, I look at Van Dijk, for example, and I think Van Dijk went from an 83 to an 85 in a year. Yeah, Van Dijk went from an 83 to an 85 and then got an 88 rated January upgrade that year. And then went from an 88 to a 90. So I think the jump from an 81 to an 85 is pretty fair for Ruben Diaz, and Zinchenko with an 80 rated card, which I think is quite fair as well. I think he was absolutely class last year. I think we'll probably not include the other left back at Man City into this, because something tells me he might not be getting much game time next year. I'm not entirely sure what that might be. Anyway, we've got Rodri, Gundogan and De Bruyne. I gave a +1 to Rodri. I thought he was a great CDM in the league last year. He was really solid for City. I gave a +2 to Gundogan because he was absolutely class when De Bruyne was injured, he came in and he was just very, very good. He got himself 2 Player of the Month for the Premier League, and he just scored a lot of goals and did really well in that City side. And then De Bruyne, I've left it at 91. I think that's pretty fair, to be honest, with De Bruyne, because De Bruyne obviously had a lot of injuries last year, but I don't think he had enough to warrant a downgrade. I think if you're out for a whole season, I can see why you get a downgrade, i.e. Van Dijk. But if you're not out for an entire season, and you're still, a world-class baller, I can see why he wouldn't get a downgrade. Not to say I think Van Dijk deserved a downgrade, it's just how EA run things. But yeah, 91 for De Bruyne, and then Gundogan 85 and Rodri 86. I think it's pretty fair. I think City's midfield is absolutely class, so I think that's definitely a fair assessment. Next up, we got Bernardo Silva, Grealish, and Foden. I gave Silva a -1 and moving to Cam. That was actually based on a lot of people in the chat that were Man City fans or self-proclaimed Man City fans that were saying to move him to Cam. I gave him a -1 because I just think, he was okay last year, but I think, he's losing his position in the side to a lot of other players. I think it's unfair to keep him at an 87 when he's not getting into the side week in, week out. Grealish, 83, moved into Cam as well. Could also be a left wing. I think 83 is fair for Grealish. A lot of people think 84, 85. I'm not entirely sure he warrants that. Grealish is one of those players that he's a very good player, but I think he's also hyped up significantly due to the fact that he's English sometimes by English fans and Premier League fans. I think Grealish is a great player. I'm not entirely sure I'd give him an 84 and 85 rated card just yet. I think he's, he could have a very good season, then we might see it next year, but at the moment, I'm not sure I'd give him that just yet. And then we got Phil Foden, who I think has definitely earned an 83 rated card. Phil Foden and Mason Greenwood, my oh my, they both have a phenomenal future ahead of themselves. I mean, Phil Foden, I think, is going to be a future world beater. I see Phil Foden, I see in 5, 6, 7, 8 years' time, we're going to see players like Foden, Greenwood, Haaland, Mbappe, Ansu Fati, Pedri. We're going to see some ridiculously good players at the top. As we see them now as youngsters, they're just absolutely balling. So I'm very excited for that. And then for City's attack, we've gone with Riyad Mahrez, Sterling, Jesus, and Ferran Torres. Mahrez gave a +1, so I think he's an absolute baller. I think he deserves an 86 rated card. I kept Sterling at an 88. I think Sterling's Euros probably saved his rating a bit because in the league, statistically and just in general, he didn't have the best campaign last year, but I think his Euros definitely saved his 88 rating. Jesus, I think keeping him at 83 is pretty fair. He maybe could get an upgrade or a downgrade. I don't know. It's one of those things where Jesus, I don't think had a necessarily great season last season for City, but since being played on the right has been class. And then Ferran Torres, I think, has been decent for City. He had a good Euros. It could be an 83. Myself in the chat decided 82, just to be fair, but I think it could be 83. The way I saw it, if I gave Jota an 82, I'd give Ferran Torres an 82. That's the way I saw it. So, yeah, they are the Man City ratings. Let me know in the comments down below if you agree or disagree. These ones were heavily helped by the Twitch chat as well, so a lot of my viewers also agreed with the ratings we give with this set as well. I didn't want to be too biased towards Man United when giving some of these ratings. So there might be players you might think that deserve more of an upgrade or deserve, I don't know, it's completely up to you what you think. But they were also helped out by the viewers. So thank you all for that. We'll have some more ratings tomorrow. And I'll see you later.